Give me one of those.
You can't do this shit. Whoa, you can.
Wow, I've gotten a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Because I was not able to do that
It's
before.
from lifting weights.
Why would it? My hands would be stronger?
Yeah, everything just gets stronger. Your brain piece gets stronger when you lift weights.
Look at that.
Damn, Cass, you're already doing some fucking showing off some poses?
Guns out, blazing.
Yeah. Yeah, these hand grips, highly recommend. You know, go to Walmart or fucking whatever the local little store is for sporting goods. It seems like I'm an 80s man doing this, but it really does
What would
make
make
my
you an
wrists and
80s man
forearms
is if you
strong.
had one of those. Like, I'd be
a thigh master.
Oh,
That's an 80s woman.
We should just have a podcast where just the whole time I'm just like 80s woman in it.
Ooh, you'd probably last 5 minutes. Less.
Oh, yeah,
Totally. That's no joke, that workout.
Yeah. How about that video I sent you the other day of a guy timing his girlfriend, like pretending like she was like the guy in sex.
You're allowed to say sex.
Okay.
It's okay. It's our podcast. You're like, he's a girl and she's doing the timing on what a dog.
You know that thing,
Yeah.
the birds and the bees and
First of all, it's weird. Like it's like a woman's body isn't like meant to do that necessarily.
Well, she didn't look good at it.
She did not look good at it, but she had no practice. And
Yeah.
how long did she last?
I think it was like under 30. It was like 30 seconds or a minute or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because girls give guys a hard time, like, you know.
Do they? You think that's a common thing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if is a common. I don't know what goes on in other people's sex lives and stuff like that. But I think the reason that video existed was she obviously had given him a hard time.
Yeah.
And been like, you know.
Yeah, and the reason you sent me that video, but I saw it on Reddit, I saw it on Twitter, I saw it on Instagram.
Oh, you already saw it?
That video's everywhere.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I was going to send it to you, but I'm like, I don't got no problems in that department. I work out and like I can every now and then I have to like let my heart calm down, but that's about it.
Yeah, but you every once in a while you'll tell me like, this is a workout for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you just need the reminder.
Sometimes you need a fucking reminder of the goddamn dream life you live.
I'm saying I need the reminder.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
See, I don't think of myself as a pillow princess.
You'll not move your body in any way, shape, or form, sexually or otherwise, for 10 years and then be like, what the hell?
That's not true.
No, okay.
I don't consider myself a pillow princess, but like.
No, you're not. You're a very generous, giving lover.
Thank you.
But not in the like the rigorous getting work done type of way, you know. Just another day at the office type of thing, you know.
No.
You're not. Yeah, it's not required of you. It's not the kind of sex that is required of you.
Yeah, there's.
You would develop those skills if it were.
Yeah, if you wanted to get into pegging, I could really get into it.
I don't think you have the rhythm.
Wait, what?
I don't think so. I think that's part of the issue. I think you would look more ridiculous than that girl in that viral video if I filmed you trying to like do a humping. Actually, I don't know. You might be able to do it if you want to demonstrate.
I got moves. No, I don't want to demonstrate. I thought about it for a second. I was like, that would be just humiliating.
Yeah, I've done so many humiliating things on this podcast, and especially on the come up too. Yeah,
but you haven't like pretended to have sex.
I dance. I'll get on there and dance. I did episodes with no shirt on. I gave Mare a tattoo. I let you humiliate me for like months at a time when I'm feeling bad about myself.
Yeah. It was just like therapy bully.
Therapy bully. That's good. That is good. It's
trial by fire or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Every now and then a motherfucker needs a couple slaps across his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
And being told you could do better.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went to the therapist we went to for like 3 meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
And you were like, she keeps humiliating me on the podcast. And he was like, well, maybe that's where she feels safe talking about some of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say I really took that to heart if I did. But that guy doesn't know jack shit about our life or what the hell goes on and all the space you have to fucking complain about me and tell me how full of shit I am. I do my best.
No, you're great.
That's all I can say on this 300th episode
Darwin,
of
that's
the
not
Very
a
podcast.
rubbing
I
thing.
knew this cat was going to fuck with the camera.
Darwin,
Darwin, get out of there.
He'll be cool.
He'll be fine. He just needs to know what the hell's going on. But I don't know what I was saying.
Episode 300.
We are on episode 300.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
This is it's either the season finale of season 2 or the season premiere of season 3. It might have to be the season premiere or the pilot episode for season 3.
Yeah. Let's say it's the pilot episode for season 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Around, episode 10, 30, 90, 110, 150. We've been like, wait, what are we doing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's every episode.
299.
But
We were like,
to a degree,
should we retire this thing?
To a degree, that's every episode. But in a realer sense, we kind of never question it. It's like this obligation we just put on ourselves a long time ago, and we do it. And if someone's being a brat about it, we do it anyway. We just do it. We just gotta do what we gotta do.
Just do it anyway.
Yeah, it's our little demon spawn. It's just like this cute thing that we just felt compelled to do because someone said we'd be good at it. Michael Donovan, shout out.
Oh yeah.
That's really who when I think of like who's my podfather, who helped give me the push.
That's good name, Podfather.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought that was really cute.
Who's your podfather?
You.
Yeah, but who would mine be? You think?
Michael Donovan. That makes sense.
Yeah, right.
And I think that we're some people's podfathers. We know a lot of people who have started podcasts.
Oh well. Considering someone did that for me and gave me that encouragement, I prided myself on helping a lot of people get their podcast started. There's a lot of this very equipment that we have here collecting dust in people's houses because
you know who you are. You know who you are.
Yeah. That's okay. It's kind of a ridiculous thing to feel compelled to do.
Well, I mean, if your expectations are low, like, I think if you're like, I'm going to do this thing,
mm-hmm.
and that's the thing, is just showing up and doing it.
Yeah.
But if you are like, well, I got to get to like a certain amount of views, and my podfather doesn't even have that many views, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
If it's worth starting it now, I think that'll really hold you back.
I really think you can't factor that stuff in nowadays, because I think we're all bound to toil in obscurity. Just there's so much going on. It's unbelievable. I was thinking about this today. I was looking at the Coachella lineup, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these artists are.
I know. Well, it's been like 5 to 10 years of me looking at lineups, being like, who are these bands?
But there was a time when we would have at least recognized every band on there.
Or at least
where are those bands?
The top headliners.
Do you see how like disposable things have become? Like, who the fuck are these groups? And what happened
and
to
how long are they going to be even around?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that window of opportunity to be around as like a player is like shrinking.
Especially when like it's like there's trends even with how bands are named.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can just see it and you're like like how it's obscure spelling, like weird lowercase, uppercase.
Oh, that was definitely like a symptom of like 2014. It's like capital S, the letter 9, lowercase e. It's like some fucked up password is like your band's names. Like no one ever knew how to pronounce it or say it out loud.
Well, I think that was the demon spawn of like this like obscure people on SoundCloud who are just like making weird beats and like almost don't want to be found.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's the vaporwave homies.
Yeah, that's kind of like, to me, yeah.
Because then you're like, when you find it, you're like, whoa, like I didn't even know I was digging for gold, and I just found like a treasure.
Yeah, I found a whole new universe of it.
Exactly. And so maybe someone will find this podcast and be like, wow, look at this cool universe.
I mean, at this
so
point,
if this is your first episode, welcome to episode 300, season premiere of season 3.
Yeah, we used to always like have guests on. That was like the idea that you and I would just sit down and do one of these would be like unheard of. It would have to be some sort of emergency situation, or like we're making an announcement, or we have something very important to talk about. For you and I don't even know when the first time.
Well, because it was like, oh shit, we need to have something to say, and then we're like, yeah, do we?
Yeah.
Do we need to have something to say, or can we just like hang out?
Yeah.
Hold some good space. And
yeah, exactly.
Hang out with our friends.
Get high a little bit.
Get a little strange.
Yeah.
Get a little high. Getting by. Getting
Yeah.
strange.
But I mean, it's cute because that was like, it just like if you started from the beginning, which you can't, by the way. You know, we've hidden back those episodes. We've taken them back because they have copyrights infringements all over them. But if you were to have been listening from the beginning, you would have just heard like two very curious people trying to, learn some things from people that we thought knew some things and who they thought knew some things. And now I kind of know no one knows anything. So I'm more interested in the hang. I think that's where the essence of life is.
I do love guests. They bring a lot, but
They got to be able to hang, though. If they're coming in there like I'm promoting my book, like you can promote your book, but on this, we're just going to hang. We might get around to some of that subject matter, but it's just going to be a hang.
well, I think like our last real guest was like Mitch Horowitz, and that was awesome. He like
I could have done 10 more episodes with him right then and there. Like somebody that has like that's what's awesome. It's like somebody that just has the encyclopedic knowledge. They do, and they're a good hang. That's like he is a top tier podcast guest, at least in what we can pull in, for sure. And we've had a lot of them, a lot.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we've had some really good times.
the heavy hitters.
Yeah, you know what I think of as some really classic episodes. I want to give a shout out, Ramin.
Oh yeah,
Anytime we've connected with Ramin on our podcast or his, they're always like to me like landmark episodes. Like the to me, I'm like we always end up punching through to something new or like something I never expressed or did before on a podcast or get loose in some other way or dig into another dimension that I didn't even realize I knew about. That kind of thing.
yeah. His brain works in a special way
Yeah.
that makes him really fun to
Mm-hmm.
explore space with.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what I've been more contemplating lately is like also with us spending a lot of our time now watching Mets games. Shout out.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Definitely. You got your Mets weed socks.
Yeah. 'Cause we were watching it yesterday and we were like, damn it. It's like, you were like, are you cool watching this? I'm like, this is so relaxing.
Yo, you're such.
But
you're unreal. You really are. In terms of a partner. Like, and if I was more of a sports fanatic, like, I don't know if you'd be like this, but like, you're just so chill. We listen all the same music. You'll watch the Mets game.
Well, okay. So the reason I love it though is kind of like similar to you. Is like everything is so stimulating. Like cut, 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 cut. Like now when you watch trailers, there's a trailer before the trailer.
Oh yeah, God.
You know what I mean?
You told me that, and I was like, it's just so depressing. Anyway, I want you to finish your point. It's just so depressing.
Yeah, I mean they want you to watch the whole 2-minute trailer, so they have to give you a 10-second mini trailer to start the trailer, which is I just was like, whoa. Mare pointed that out to me, and I was like, what is going on?
What's going on is the ad execs out there, they're overthinking it with that kind of thing. I don't know. I think it seems like an algorithm told them to do that, and the type of person that doesn't have the attention span to get through a trailer is never going to go fucking watch your 90-minute movie. Like, just get real. It doesn't matter how many 5-second things you give them.
So baseball has recently sped up the game.
Yes.
Because basically they could fuck around on the mound, the pitcher, and the batter could like step out of the box, step into the box, and now they have a 20-second countdown clock.
Yeah.
For when the pitcher needs to lift his foot to throw the ball, and it really has.
It's very snappy. You watch it now, and it's a very snappy game.
Because we were watching the end of last season, and I was like, it was like 4 hours every time. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is long.
Especially like those late season playoff games, and like they're just making sure they get everything right. Everyone's like being very tedious about all their little things.
It was enjoyable, but I find there's like a balance because I find this much more enjoyable because something's always happening.
Yeah.
But it's not like in a snap. It's more snappy, but without chaotic. It's like still like peaceful, and you can be like, oh, we can, we always look into the batter's height and age and where they come from, where they, where
and
they
we're only like.
That was on
you
our.
got me.
Yeah.
You got me on that one.
That doesn't even make sense to anyone else, but it's
What do
like,
you mean? It's the essence of our podcast. It's the essence of the one song that would define our journey.
mm-hmm.
Cotton Eye Joe. Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah.
Fucking Joey.
But I just to round out our little baseball talk, which I know people love. I think actually they wouldn't mind us talking about this, but I think it's like akin to a Grateful Dead show for me. Like when I make the decision, like, oh, it's time to listen to a Grateful Dead show, and I like take the time and pick it out and just know, like, I'm putting this on. I'm not gonna skip any tracks or anything. I'm just gonna experience this the way the audience did. It's the same thing with the baseball game. It's just like something for that moment. It's just like easy breezy. It's like the same thing you just described about baseball. It's like all of it applies to a Grateful Dead show, and there's these moments of elation, and but it's just kind of like just hypnotizes you into just like really calm, mellow place. And it might seem crazy that I'm like putting on the game every day, but it actually allows me like creativity, because it's like taking up, it's occupying that space that it seems like everyone needs occupied now, of like, am I bored? Like I have that on, it's like I'm not bored. That's taken care of. So I don't know, it just allows my mind to wander a little bit, and we get in interesting conversations. And
It's very peaceful. I mean, if the what are they called? The newscasters, sportscasters?
yeah, the
If
broadcasters.
The broadcasters. If they weren't so entertaining, I would just throw on the Dead Show at the same time.
We did that the other night, but it kills me because I love the Mets announcers, and
That's what I'm saying.
they're the longest tenured announcers in baseball. They've been doing this together for 18 years.
And like you were saying, it's like the '86 Mets.
Yeah, Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling. You know, they were on the team, the 1986 Mets, who were the last. That's the last time they won a World Series. So all the players from that team are very near and dear to Mets fans' hearts. And now they're calling the games, and they always tell the old stories. And yeah, they make fun of how lame the games become. That's a big thing.
Yeah, because everyone's so like gentlemanly and like lifting each other, like handing each other their masks or their
They
helmet.
were fucking playing in this game like literally at the peak of its debauchery, and like people spiking each other, people fucking sharpening their cleats, just brawls on the field all the time, doing cocaine
I was about to say
between
it was
innings,
all the cocaine.
smoking cigarettes in the dugout, like just sex, drugs, and rock and roll and baseball.
They used to be badasses.
Truly. Now they have a lot more to lose.
Yeah, the contracts are so big. There's like, it's not even that. It's just.
It partly is.
I mean, also, how about just cell phones? Like, you can't just go out.
Can't get away with anything.
Sniff stuff in public.
You can't just go sniffing around New York City.
I mean, that's pretty much what they were doing.
Yeah.
Lenny Dykstra.
Oh my God.
Wild man.
Complete, total wild man. Yeah, there's an ESPN 30 for 30, a 4-part thing about the 1986 Mets. Highly recommend, even if you're not into sports. This is like one of the most entertaining teams and legendary teams, any sport that there's ever been. The 1986 championship New York Mets. Watch that thing. Jimmy Kimmel produced it. I think it's on ESPN. Really good shit. But I had something I wanted to do with you. I thought of it right as we were hitting record.
Okay.
So you know how, like in tennis, we try to get a volley going?
Okay.
We try to do like gratitude tennis.
Oh, okay.
You know how like there's like drinking games like that? Like name a celebrity, or like, we have to name presidents until someone can, then you got to drink or whatever.
Or like, yeah, okay.
But I think I think it's a really good thing to speak our gratitude. It's a good practice for us. Like, I'm a little superstitious, so I do want to come on here and speak our gratitude. But it's cool to hear other people talk about gratitude, because it can give you ideas about what to be more grateful for in your life.
Yeah, I saw something the other day that actually really, I was like, oh, I should talk to your dad about this. But basically it was like how to like use the chemicals in your brain to get happy, like hack your happiness.
How do you do it?
And there's an acronym, DOSE, which I love.
Well, let's get dosed.
And dopamine, which is the D.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, gratitude is a way to spike your dopamine, like listing the things you're grateful
Are you
for.
kidding me?
Yeah.
You holding this back till now?
Well, let me tell you the other ones.
Okay.
Then there's O, oxytocin.
Orgasmic release.
Exactly. It's from connection, hugging yourself, hugging a kitten, just
Your lover?
your lover.
Your boss?
Yeah, any sort of like physical connection with yourself or with someone else can spike your the care and the
Mm-hmm.
love drug. And then S is serotonin. And she
Okay.
had a funny way of doing it. She was like, and maybe we could do this. She was creepy as hell doing it, but she was like, the way you get serotonin is by laughing, one of the ways.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, it doesn't really, your brain doesn't really know if it's real laughing or fake laughing. Like if you fake
I
laugh,
love this one. I love this.
and so so the way she does it is goes to ha, but 10 times. So she'll do ha, ha ha, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. And then by like 10, you're like already
You're
like
actually
genuinely
laughing at yourself,
laughing.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think I couldn't even nail 5 ha's.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
It's good. It's good shit.
yeah.
What else you got? What?
Okay. And then E is endorphins, which is like moving your body,
Yeah.
exercise.
Wow.
Which I really didn't want to exercise this morning. I haven't wanted to exercise in a few days, but I'm like, just lift the fucking weights. And I felt great.
Yeah, there's something to that too. It actually does something for your brain chemistry when you lift heavy things.
Oh, really? Not
Yeah.
just exercise, but like lifting? Because
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and like I was an hour or so later, I was like, wow, I'm having like a great day.
Mm.
And I think it's because I like took the time to like make my body strong, do the stretching and squats and whatever the hell. Yeah. So yeah, what do you want to do? You want to say you're grateful for something first?
Yeah, we're just gonna go back and forth. They can be quick, or we can expand on them, or whatever.
Okay.
You want to try it?
I'm grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you as well, Cass Greener. The love of my life.
What, are you gonna get sappy now?
No, I just want to. It's just I'm just adding a little tag.
Just adding a little razzle dazzle.
Yeah, come on.
I'm grateful for this podcast and like the community and everyone who see. I'm gonna do like 3
Go
in
for it.
1.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everyone who like on the Discord shares different things about their life or where they're at, because I get so much from it and seeing people interface and interact. Like,
Oh, it's
I think
like the joy of my life.
I think that the reason that we do keep doing this is like people write and be like, hey, I don't really have friends like you in my hometown. And this is the
Yeah.
way that people can connect with people who are
We
kind
don't
of
either,
like,
so it's cool.
yeah, no, but it is. There's, yeah, us either. It's like something about connecting with like-minded people, like-minded heads that, kind of are just like, yeah, something else is going on in this crazy world, but we're not going to take it too seriously, but we're going to laugh about it.
Yeah, it's a prayer from years ago to find the others. We learned that from Douglas Rushkoff.
Yeah.
Whatever, is that his name?
Rush cough,
Yeah.
not coughed.
We had him. That's it. That's when he dies. That's what it'll be.
He rush coughed off.
I'm grateful for Mare Bear,
Oh,
all
of
of her
course.
music, which is available on all platforms. I'm grateful for her new album, Bedroom Fairy, and just the fact that she lets us in her life and she lets us contribute and inspire her. She runs things by us. Like, this
Yeah, we
is a
got-
music nerd's dream. Like, if you've ever seen the movie High Fidelity, he has a one-night stand with like this hot musician, and it's just like, that's Mare, but it's not a one-night stand. It's just been going on and on.
And she lets you say things to her and maybe incorporates your
That's
thoughts.
fine. Yeah. It's incredibly intoxicating, and I'm grateful for it. I wonder which of the dose all that sets off on me, but it does.
Probably a few of them.
Combination, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Nuclear bomb of brain chemicals go off.
Totally.
Yeah, Mare Bear, available on all platforms. Her new album is called Bedroom Fairy.
Hell yeah.
What else you got?
Wait, I'm grateful for Mare too. Can I just say that?
Okay, cool. I'm grateful that I could breathe through my nose right now. I had it last week. I was just out of nowhere. I was like just a little stuffed up for a few days. I'll add to that that I don't have a headache at the moment, and I also had a headache for like 4 days mysteriously. I don't know what it was. Maybe I had COVID.
Why would you say that?
Well, I'm thinking about it now. I'm describing mysterious symptoms of just like being stuffed up and having a headache for 3 days.
No, you'd know.
Seasonal allergies.
You'd know.
But it's just one of those things. It's like when something's that off with your body, it's hard to, at least for me, to kind of flourish in any way.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So, very grateful for that.
when I started doing the gratitude checklist in the morning, or not checklist, that sounds so official, but like when I started waking up instead of Googling all the things I thought was wrong with me and how to fix them, and said like, I'm grateful for this bed, I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I can hear. I'm grateful that I can taste. Like, it's just like the simplest sensory stuff that we take for granted so quickly and so
Yeah.
easily. And that's, I mean, when I used to visit my grandparents and like see old people, more regularly, like I think it's important for us to,
Yeah, feast your eyes on this shit.
well,
Like,
and
see,
living with
this
your
is what,
parents, like they're not old people, but they're older and like they're, your dad's like huffing and puffing in the morning because he has like a lot of back pain and hips and joints and stuff like that. And it's just like a reminder of like, be really grateful. And that's what gets my ass out in the streets running.
yeah,
It's like I can. What the
yeah.
fuck?
You're young,
We
sexy,
can.
healthy body time.
Sexy healthy bodies.
Yeah.
Sexy healthy bodies.
Yes.
So I think that's a really good. See, you're gonna ping it to me, and I'm gonna be like, boom,
That's
boom,
fine,
boom,
but that's
five.
what this is. That's we're
Okay.
getting a thing going.
Okay.
Because then it gets deeper and more nuanced.
Yeah. And I try to tell your dad, like, he can be grateful for his body even when it's in pain. Like, you can be grateful for your body because you can be like, well, I have back pain, but I don't have, heart pain, or I don't have a cold right now, or, I have all my toes, or
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm grateful for the art of Bob Dylan. I'm grateful that I exist in a timeline where he's an important figure, and he has been to me my whole life, and he just continues to mesmerize me and keep me very inspired that even someone like him exists. And he's just been so steadfast at what he does, and I could fill up a whole podcast just talking about Bob Dylan.
We should do that.
But I'm
Bob
very
Dylan appreciation.
I'm very grateful for him, and I don't know. I guess the reason I immediately go to him is because I think he influenced every single other person we could possibly name, including the Beatles.
He wrote the songs that you're like, there was a time before that song was written.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many songs like that you're just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Most of them are by Bob Dylan.
And someone had to write this song.
Yeah. Yeah. Very grateful for that.
Yeah.
What do you got?
My mom. My mom, she's
good one.
Living her best life. She has been quarantined for 2-3 years and was like, I'm going to France, and she is in France.
Badass.
She's such a badass. She booked herself a little Airbnb in some obscure town and is going around and doing little arts and drawings, and I'm grateful. I mean, I could do a whole thing. Everyone knows all the gratitude they have for the people in their life that are so close to them. I don't have to go into the details, but in a broader sense, I'm grateful that she's like stayed devoted to creativity and art and moving that sort of energy, because it really inspires me, and I think like Bob Dylan, any artist who shares either their gifts or just shares the inspiration of like doing art, because then it reminds you like, oh, there's like, I could get better at this sort of thing. I could express myself visually or explore my inner world visually,
Yeah. Wow. That's a good one. Very grateful for my sister, Caitlin.
Yeah.
My whole family.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for their health. Everybody in the family seems to be doing good right now. And, there's a lot of health scares, obviously, with my family. But seems like everyone's doing pretty good right now. I'm very grateful for that. And Caitlin has just been the reason my family's still together and as tight as they are, probably the reason my parents are still together, the reason I feel comfortable operating out of their household right now is because, she needs us. And it puts me into a gratitude mindset, but also like a service-minded type of way of looking at things. Like, always try to be sweet to Katie and always, try to be good to her, because like her world is very small and we're a big part of it. So she's just a constant reminder to be in service and be sweet and be in the moment, because that's all she really has. That's what she has. She doesn't think about the future in our way. So she doesn't really have anxiety the way we do.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That's
great.
And
it's very calming to be around her in that way. Like, you could sit there and just play Connect 4 with her for hours and she'll just have the biggest smile on her face the whole time, because she's just all about the moment. She just wants to have a good time. And she's probably of all the spiritualists and people I've listened to, whatever, Caitlin's probably been the most important figure in terms of a person in my life that has affected my spirituality.
Do you want to extrapolate even more
about that?
Yeah, sure.
watching somebody have many seizures and like cling to life and hurt themselves and come in and out of consciousness and just being on the edge, just it's like a near death experience, kind of. So you get to kind of live that with them, and you go through something every time. You have to protect them.
Well,
And
talk about the gratitude when she comes out of a seizure. You're like, oh, okay.
yeah, or when she comes out of 25 in a row,
Yeah.
and you're like, I think we're calming down. Remember that night? I was like, oh, okay, it's been 2 minutes. It's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's been 10 minutes. It's been 15. It's been 20.
Yeah, she had like 100 in like an hour or
Yeah,
something.
it was pure insanity, and it's just it gives you just a sense of like what real chaos is, and the things that just really can get me emotional still, because like there's like it's only you have a finite amount of fucks to give in this life, right?
I don't know.
I think so. I think you haven't used up as much of that, so I don't think you have a sense of, like I'm running on fumes at this point.
Of
But
things to care about.
that genuinely get you like, it's part of why I want to watch the Mets is like it brings that online a little bit, just like that passion. That's something, giving a fuck. You only have so much of that in your life, and like with Katie, like she just reminds me, I really do. I really do.
Yeah, we expired a bunch of fucks. Your parents are like, you guys don't give a fuck. I mean, they don't say that to us, but it's kind of the,
We don't give a fuck about all the stuff that they're used to everyone giving a fuck about, because we exist in a different world and in a different economy than they can even fathom, and they don't have their
we
head
also
fully
have
wrapped around
seen
that.
how we've been completely manipulated. Everything that's being fed us is exactly that, something that's being fed us. So we're just like less invested in someone else's storyline.
Yeah.
Just trying to take the Terrence McKenna prescription of like create your own culture, don't necessarily consume.
Turn on, tune in, and drop out. It goes even before McKenna.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I think that is a healthy prescription for somebody who can do something about it. I think that phrase has been, wildly bastardized over the years, but it does apply to our life and the way we started to see things and doing something about it. So I think, and the interesting thing is when we first started being like this, our parents were very concerned, and now they're like, oh, I think like now they're like, oh, you care more about your happiness than your comfort. The two aren't as tied up as for us, and it takes a continual deprogramming to kind of stay like this, and
Also,
having a muse with you in person to remind you. And every day I see you, and I'm like, this would be insane if I wanted to go be away from her for any amount of time, to go off to separate jobs. I'm like, I want to
well,
be with you. You're my beautiful woman.
we could get mad about the story we can't touch, or we could tend to the garden we can
Yeah.
touch, and that's like our relationship. It's supporting our families. It's trying to be, yeah. There's just it's like I don't know.
Anything that's inciting anger and rage and negativity in you, and when you think about it, you literally can't do anything about it. Drop it. Drop it like a bad habit. It's a tumor that's looking to grow in you, and some tumors are benign, but some of them are very malignant, especially like the political and religious stuff and the spiritual stuff. And I don't know. I've just seen too many people get sucked into an ideology that just ultimately really doesn't work for their life, but they feel like they're all in on it and this and that. And I think we've just chosen to kind of be our own religion. And I think that's what artists really need to do. So I'm very grateful that the idea of being an artist is even a thing,
Yeah.
and that we can kind of just tune our frequency to that. And it seems like everything works out when we continue to tune our frequency to that and serve that God in our life.
Very devoted.
Yeah.
Very devoted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all out of gratitude. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm like grateful for like clean air, like seems like it's gonna be harder to come by clean air, fresh
Oh, yeah.
water,
You're gonna have to buy it.
buy everything. Yeah, but while we got it, let's appreciate it and try to preserve it and try to fight for its preservation and prioritize that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a pretty big one.
I'm grateful for like going like long walks and long hikes. I think those have been an integral part in my mental health. And it sounds very simple and trite, but I don't think anyone's ever gone for a long walk and regretted it. Just throwing that out there. So if you're feeling any kind of way and you want to switch it up, go for a long walk.
Take us with you.
Yeah, take us with you. Throw us in your little ears and take a long walk. Maybe you're doing that right now. That's what I do.
Yeah, just listen to podcasts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll be listening to a podcast sitting on my fucking ass and then be like, I shouldn't be sitting on my ass. It's not like I can't keep listening to this. So I'm very grateful for the cell phone technology that allows me to go for a long ass walk and listen to some funny ass comedians. So those are the only podcasts I listen to.
So do you think season 3 do you think we're getting into like, I think season 1 was like, all right, guests, take this really seriously, like interview people, like try to be almost like more, like we were like, oh, we're documentarians, but our documentaries are like more a vibe. So let's like document in a way where we're like more informational. And that was the podcast. And I feel like that was season 1.
We were like pouring a foundation. We were getting like our structural roots in place for even like anything that we could decorate in the future.
Season 2 was like, all right, we're going to be more personal. It's going to be more about like...
Season 2 is Church of Chill. Episode 100 is called Church of Chill.
Yeah, so that's like where we're like more psychedelic, being more open with our personal journey, trying to like figure out what's going on in life and talking about it.
Pandemic times, switching over to YouTube, putting our show on YouTube, letting the people see our beautiful faces.
And then season 3 is going to be like no fucks given, I guess. Like...
I think it's hard to say, and
It's
I think
hard to
that's what's exciting about what we do is like we're not dialed into a gimmick.
And also because we're like, we don't owe this to anyone besides like ourselves, pretty much. We can be really loose, but we're going to be on the road a lot this year.
Yeah,
and
we're going to meet some interesting people.
With Joey a lot. Hopefully we'll have some interesting people on the podcast, but also I'm thinking like, I don't know. This is just a space to be foolish. I'm like, life is a place to be foolish is like kind of where I'm at. Like, I just want to be foolish. I just want to have a funny time.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to laugh, help people relax and laugh and hang out. And
yeah, it's hard to do if you don't have a figure for that within your life. So hopefully we can be that for some people, like in like a parasocial way. Just know that there's people out there that aren't taking themselves too seriously. I think we take the work very seriously, but
there's a balance.
Yeah. Just trying to like really honor like a calling or a message that we continually feel, and it's hard to say even what it is, but I think that I like the world better when seeing it as a more connected and magical place.
Yeah.
So I want to continue to figure out how to dial in that prescription to just see it like that all the time. And whatever little clues and tips and shortcuts that we can collect along the way, that's what I want to report on here for sure.
Serious reporting.
Yeah, but it's serious reporting about like learning how to not give a fuck. And I think that's what's cool about like our age difference and our age difference with Mare. It's like Mare's in her 20s, you're in your 30s, and I'm in my 40s.
We got the decades covered.
We do. And but somehow we all like really get on really well, and it's like, I don't know. But I think that's what's so rad about getting into your 40s is like you care less. You just care less.
My 30s have been awesome.
Oh, that was the best. It's the best. It's awesome. Your body's fucking firing on all cylinders. You got a little wisdom. But you also
just are like,
people take you seriously.
Yeah, but you're also not taking yourself as seriously anymore, because like in your 20s and late 20s you're like, I got to figure this thing out.
Got to figure out what I am, because that's what you're asked your whole life leading up to.
Like, what are you? Who are you? What are you about?
What are you trying to be? What are you going to be? And there's a lot of pressure to figure that out.
You hit 35 and you're like, I don't know, I'm just here, man.
Well, you're like, who am I doing this for? What I'm not doing this for some teacher or a boss or my parents. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah, you have, and
What do I want this to be about?
that's like what life is like kind of figuring out your personal ethos of like what is life about, what's important to me,
Yeah.
what's important to how are my days important, and then you structure your life accordingly. Like, okay, I want to like love and support have a child and support and have a nuclear family and like
Mm-hmm.
grow a beautiful garden of a family. Like for some people that's like really purposeful
It's a
and
beautiful
beautiful,
thing.
and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And for us it's like we want to fuck about, so that's not our garden.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the idea. I was like, what people do when they're 20, they're like, oh, I'll take a year off and backpack around Europe. I'm like, every time I'm hanging out or going for one of those hikes, I'm like, we should be fucking backpacking around Europe. And the thing is, like, when college kids are doing it, they don't have that much money. Like, it
No,
is
it's doable.
doable,
Yeah.
especially for people who are like, we don't have a mortgage right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just like looking for those avenues to like be less tied down in every way.
Of course. Of course. I
And
mean,
then some
the reason
people,
we don't have our own place right now is because we'd feel too tied down. It's not like we don't have the money to do so. We could get our own place, but it's like it feels a little too serious for who we are right now. Home ownership feels way too serious for who we think we are.
yeah, and I think that has to do, but some people are like very floaty and they need that structure and they want that home and they want to build that beautiful garden. And so it's just like, I think that's what happens in your 30s. You're like, wait, how do I want the rest of my life to be?
And that's when you have to set yourself up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why like I did and continue to go balls to the wall with the filmmaking thing because like being an artist, I think we talked about this in the last podcast. It's like something it's the only job I can think of that like you appoint yourself that thing and it's up to you to keep that going. It's just solely on you. And if you make it about other people, you're that's not art. That's like a career. That's a whole different thing. If it's about you and your expression, then yeah, that's art, and that's kind of what we're tuned to. And we'll do stuff to pay our bills, of course, but hopefully it can be in the medium that we love, documentary.
Yeah, I feel like we're finally at this place where we're starting to like devoted so much personal resources and energy towards making films that were not financially that were an investment. They weren't financially lucrative or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it feels like the tides are turning, so we like built a foundation that's like allowing us to finally step into a place where we're getting the financing we need for movies and a pathway towards doing this like where art is our career.
Yeah.
It's a prayer that I continue and I will not forget, like, and it's an ongoing prayer. It's not like, oh, we're on the other side of that. Art's our career. It's like, no, it's
You really can't rest on your laurels.
never. You can never rest on any laurels.
I mean, I've had moments where I feel like I can but it's always like 3 weeks, and I'm like, I'm bored with myself. This is ridiculous. Like, I'm resting on my laurels. Like,
well, I think there's this idea that like you're gonna get somewhere, or something's gonna happen, and you're gonna be like, all right, well now I
kick
can
back.
put my feet up.
Yeah.
And that's like, at least in our experience, and I don't know anyone who has that. I don't know. Like life is not. That's not what life is. And
No.
life is.
That's when you die.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Why do you think these musicians who are multi-millionaires, if not billionaires, are still out there touring? Why do you think Paul McCartney is still out there? Why do you think the Stones are still out there? Why do you think Phil Lesh is still out there? Bob Weir? What do you think these guys are doing? They're trying not to die.
Mm-hmm.
They know that you go home and you sit still and you kick back, you fucking start aging at a crazy pace, and your body just starts withering away, and the universe takes you back. And it's all good. Like they've done their thing here, but
Well, is that what the universe wants? The universe wants something from us. I mean, if what it wants from every person is different, probably.
Yeah.
But like, it wants something.
Well, that's why it's worth listening to your heart, because that's what's telling you what the universe wants from
Like,
you.
you gotta pay to be here, and it's gotten so dark because it feels like, oh, you gotta work this certain job and pay, and like there is that way, but obviously, like we did Wooks, there's a way of going about this that's alternative, where it's not a traditional job, but like those people are paying. They're just not paying in their time to like a company, but they're paying in their own way, like with challenges and insecurity and instability and whatever it is. There's like gonna be there's a cost.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, I don't want to say it.
Go for it.
No.
Come on, Cass. What are you, crazy?
Well, I was gonna say something inappropriate.
It's okay.
And this we've had this saying for a long time. This is not a new saying.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can I say it?
Yeah, of course. What are you kidding me?
It reminds me of, we've been saying this for many, many years. But it's no, I can't even say it. I'm sorry.
Is it a quote from the movie The Last Detail?
I think so.
Yeah, where the guy says one way or another, pussy's gonna cost you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does he say, or did we add, and it'll cost you, at the very least, it'll cost you other pussy?
We added that part. That's us being twisted jokers. But it's true, and it's true in what in the larger sense of what you're saying. Like, this life will cost you. It'll cost you your life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's never too late or too early to start doing the shit you want to do exclusively. For real. For real. That would be the main piece of takeaway advice I would want to give for every episode of this whole thing. Like, it's never too late to say, fuck it, I'm going to start doing the thing I want to do with my life. Magic starts happening when the universe feels people start being that way. And because it's really a respect thing. It's about having respect for yourself. It's about saying, like, all that other shit, all that static and noise trying to pull me towards the shit other people have and want doesn't apply to me. I see the world differently, and I want to continue to see it differently. And
that's what, like, yeah, being close to any sort of like big losses really can change people in that way of like, oh no, I'm not waiting for this moment to happen to do the perfect thing. Like, I need to build this thing. Oh, I was reading Alex and Allison Gray. They got in a car accident like a long time ago, but they wrote a little thing about, I don't know how this came across my whatever, but reinforcing that, like, they need to build this temple. Like, this is their mission, and they're going to do it, and do it sooner and do it faster. Our friend Wes had a brush with someone who passed recently, and he's like, I'm not fucking around. Like, we're here for like that. It's like a blink, and it feels really long, and you can make it feel longer, and the days feel really long, but...
And if you ignore that, sometimes the universe will hit you with some fucking wild shit, some real loss or a car accident or getting fired or whatever, a breakup, just the thing that you need to shake yourself awake. And a lot of people will continue to hit the snooze button on that.
Yeah.
In life. And I know that there's been parts of my life when I have, but I've gotten so disciplined about this just because I'm keenly aware that I'm not a filmmaker unless I'm making films. I got to make films. That's what I love doing. So I got to do it. And yeah, but I've definitely gone through that. I've definitely been the person who's like, I can fucking kick back, but it's just not a comfortable state for me. And I think that's part of what keeps us going. It's just like, I've never gotten comfortable. There's been no amount of money that's made me comfortable. Do you know what I mean by that? There's never been like, oh, we booked the job, I'm comfortable now, I'm fine, we're gonna be fine. Like, it's never like that.
If anything, it's like the least comfortable. Like, we reflecting on having our own apartment was great, but like it also was like very distracting because
extremely distracting.
We would just like be able to host all the time, and as people who love our friends, like our day would be like, all right, we were gonna get stuff done, and then our friends coming over and smoking a blunt at 1 p.m. and that's our day.
Yeah.
And I love those times, but it was like I don't know. But also I think like people get so stressed, like I got to be doing something so much that they're just like on a hamster wheel that's like not really moving. You have to like do one big thing a day or like one significant thing a day, or have like max 3 things that you're working on. Like, I think there's some
good advice.
I think there's some this is advice I've heard. Like, there's some rules to this thing, or some guideposts to how to like actually move things along, is not overflood your system with everything you want to do. Unless you're one of those people who can handle it, good if you're so good, but unlikely you're spending time listening to us.
You don't have to.
Last time I did that, I got dopey.
I am dopey. I'm twisted. I'm very grateful though. Just overall, it's good. Spring is here. We have some things that are keeping us motivated to stay creative. And
Oh, want to know something grateful? Like
please,
we are able to like connect in a house by ourselves right now,
yeah,
and that's
nudity.
nudity. I mean, if you have your own place, say some gratitude prayers because
Oh, when we had our own place and you were just walking around naked all the time, Mare was, and like all that stuff. I I was counting my blessings. Like it's hard not to when beautiful women are walking around naked, and you've facilitated the situation where they're comfortable enough to do that. Like I was basking in gratitude.
bathing us being bathing beauties.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
Yeah, as long as it's warm enough, Mare will be nude.
yeah.
Just sometimes we have to cover her up. We say we're out here. There's people around. Um, you want to keep going with the gratitude thing?
How could it ever stop?
I'm grateful for weed. Grateful for all the
Fucker.
drugs.
You fucker. Yeah, that was. I mean, look, it was low hanging fruit. Somebody was gonna get it, but that was gonna be my next one. It's good. For weed and drugs.
Weed and drugs.
Mind altering substances is what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for them. It's changed my life. It's given me life. It's given me a real life. Like I honestly, before drugs, not before the shift in consciousness that drugs allowed me, I was not present ever. Like I don't know where I was, anxious, confused, fearful, stressed. Like and then drugs scared the shit out of me and made me
Mm-hmm.
realize what that even means to live your life in that state. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. You were in a more rigid construct. I guess I was too before drugs came along.
Well, just thinking like I'm being a good person by worrying. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
like be more productive or do like that. If I worry all the time, that's how I'll get through this life better.
Yeah.
And then drugs made me realize like that's ridiculous.
That ain't doing you or anyone around you any good because it's
No.
stealing your joy. It's stealing from the present moment. It's stealing from the opportunity that is every breath to just decorate this life with good, new, fresh memories and experiences. And when you're checked out and you're living in the future, because that's all anxiety is, like, you just can't do that.
I
And
didn't
you wore it. It's so funny.
I didn't realize. I mean, this is season 2 was a lot of me talking about anxiety or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's so present in so many people's lives that it's like worth talking about. And it like has different flavors. It's not always anxiety. There's different
Yeah.
things that take us out of the moment.
It's the mold that's around you, and you have to break the mold, and there's a way to do it. And for you, it was drugs. Drugs is like a very easy shortcut to that. And if you're a conscious being and you're not an addictive personality, that can be so useful. But a lot of times people use it as like they get confused. They get
It can be
confused.
very confusing. I even said that the other day. I was like, "Oh shit, like how would have drugs affected me if I didn't have you to catch me?" You know what I mean? Like,
You might not have done them.
well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, but to catch each other and be like, "Oh, like this reality is solid enough." As crazy as it felt, like it's solid enough.
Hmm.
It might not be solid. The solidity of it might be an illusion, but it's solid enough.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would very grateful for weed and all drugs. I will say that weed definitely, and just in terms of keeping me a mellow dude, keeping me in my creativity, keeping me in my good sleep cycle, and eating good.
Yeah, you don't eat without weed, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit, but because I think there's just like a natural low buzz of anxiety that, like me not on weed, like I'm better about it now, and I can do my thing, but my appetite is just like it's barely there when I'm not on the weed. That's okay. I've come to terms with that. I work so I can get weed, so I can stay healthy.
Grateful for all the plants.
Yeah, we're plant based.
They're so
We
pretty.
rely on them.
Grateful for, I mean, modern technology. I everything. Clothes,
Movies.
movies.
Yeah. I'm grateful for the Criterion collection.
Yeah, we've been watching some erotic thrillers, I guess you'd call them.
Yeah, it's so cool that like I think that as we move more and more to this future, like I'm saying, where there's just so many artists and so many things, and it's just like crazy. I think curation is going to be a huge thing moving forward. Like the actual human beings, not AI, not what some company thinks you should hear or see, but like people that are just that have really done the work in terms of listening to the music and assessing these things and watching the movies. I think that kind of curation, the people that have the attention span to really comb through things, and we do it with music. I definitely do it with music. I try to do it with movies. I'm very much more selective about the movies we watch because they take up so much time. But yeah, so the Criterion Channel is so awesome because they curate every month. They just curate a whole new batch of movies, and they get into different themes and different directors, different actors, different time periods. Yeah, right now they have one out that's like 30 films, all erotic thrillers, and they're like B movies. But movies are so good, and at least they used to be.
Or movies are now so bad that
Yes. But like yeah, watching a B movie from the 90s is like awesome.
it's awesome.
It's so cool, and just seeing how this form has been used and seeing the things that don't age well and the things that do and the stuff that's timeless because like that's a huge goal with our art is
What
to
does
make it timeless.
did something pop into your mind that didn't age well in the movie we watched recently?
God, so many fucking things don't age well. One that we watched recently. See, we're careful. We're careful about that, but like we randomly watched that movie Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore, and I mean that was like a hit movie when it came out, and you watch it now, and it looks like it's just like it looks good and it sounds good and everything, but it's just like really rough around the edges and just like a script like this wouldn't get made now.
Yeah,
It just
it was
wasn't.
not the best script.
Not the best script at all.
Talking about curation, I went through and took all because you've been making playlists of all our favorite artists,
Yeah.
like and putting them kind of in an order and grabbing the best songs. And for some reason, I've wanted to be able to just go to your Spotify and find all those playlists, but you can't because Spotify somehow limits to like
Yeah.
a certain amount of public playlists. Anyway, I took all your playlists and put them on our website in a hidden site part, but it's called veryape.tv/playlist, and you can see all Sean's curated playlists he's made of like different artists so far, and there's a lot of them on that.
Yeah.
At least like almost like 70 or something.
Wow. Yeah, I've been doing that for years because it was one of those things I used to feel like I was paying for Spotify and I'm just like renting the music I already own, and it just felt like and you just like looking at that blank search bar, like what do I want to listen to? So I was just like, I got to do this like I have my record collection. When I want to listen to something and I can't think of what that thing is, I go through my records. So I wanted to have Spotify version of that. So over the years, just whenever I think of an artist I love, I'll sit there and I'll listen to their whole catalog again, and I'll pull everything and put it in an order.
I mean, it's so helpful because like my favorite one is the CSNY playlist. I throw
Oh.
that on all the time. It's
Yeah, and
almost
like
a
for
joke.
CSN, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, like I do their stuff that they did together. I do the stuff that's just Crosby, Stills and Nash. I do all their solo stuff, and I try to put it in an order that's
That makes sense.
well that you're not like just hearing the obvious hits right away.
Yeah, because it's like when you go to anything, it's like Spotify does it where it's like, oh, the top most popular songs.
It's just like no, those aren't always the best one. I will dig around and find the hits. My Butthole Surfers playlist, I'm very proud of that one. Ween, obviously, the Ween one is just like all their songs. So
yeah, some of them.
yeah, some of them are like that. My Beach Boys playlist, though, I think most people could go on there and click on that and not even realize they're listening to the Beach Boys because these are all like, I went for like the deeper cuts and stuff that I think people wouldn't find otherwise. Could be lost in the dustbin of history, which, I'm here for these artists to carry their torch. And most of these artists are from like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I put together a lot of playlists. It's one of the things that I like doing. Because, like, you know me. I'm always cleaning up, tidying up. That's like curation, especially music curation, is like my way of doing that. Like there's just this mess of music out there, and I just get in there and I organize it. That's what those Church of Chill episodes are. It's like, here's
Yeah.
the vibe I felt this week. and here's all the songs that I decorated around that vibe. So, and I'm done 158 of those.
Crazy.
They're all on patreon.com/churchofchill.
I tried to do one episode for Church or Chill around episode 88. I was like, well, I was born in 88. Maybe I should do episode 88. I spent like, I don't know, a few hours thinking about it, a few days, and I was like, this is freaking hard.
It's kind of like directing. I think it would be hard right away. And then, like, the second you start doing it, you realize it's just like,
I know,
it's
but I
just
had
like little choices that are going to lead to, there's only one way something is going to come out.
yeah,
There's only
but
one way a playlist is going to come out. There's only one way a film's going to come out. There's only one way this podcast is going to come out. So you start to get confident in the person that's doing that process and making just little
I
decisions.
think it's okay to say it's a skill that I think.
Oh, definitely. I'm saying it actually makes me feel good because it's just like one of the places that I get in flow when I'm directing, when I'm curating or doing one of these episodes or whatever. It's one of those places where I feel very in my confidence, and the decisions are not only easy, they're just obvious. They don't even feel like decisions. It's like I'm clearing away that stuff that didn't belong. All the songs in history that didn't belong in this 22-minute or this 22-song playlist I'm putting together for this week. I'm just clearing away all those other things. Same thing when we make a movie. It's just like before you shoot it, you're just like clearing away all the things that aren't. Like we're making Wild Magic right now. It's like right now we're just in that like, what's not wild magic? Okay, we're avoiding that. And you start to get a little bit of a closer view of what it is. And it starts to come alive and make itself. And then, like right now we have people rallying around, like trying to help us shoot with people and find cool places. Like we're just looking for this is how we're spending our summer. Me, you, and Joey are going around shooting the most magical, mystical people, places, and things we could find. And some of those things are going to be obvious. Some of them are going to be people we could have never come across unless we were out there literally on the road with our eyes peeled for this type of thing. And that movie's called Wild Magic. We've been talking about it for a while, but this is where the rubber meets the road. And we want everyone's help with it. So if anyone knows people, places, and things in New Orleans, that's something we need to lead right now. Because we're going to be spending, I think, a week down there.
But yeah, anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere, because we're going all over this country.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
and thank you to people who have already shared some leads with us. That was actually super valuable and appreciated.
We're taking people up on it. Like, that's how we're making this movie. There's no way to make this movie with an uptight attitude. If you're making something called Wild Magic, you have to just free fall into the universe. And it's a terrifying thing because people gave us money to make this one. So it's like you start to think like, oh, we have a client, or like, we have whatever. But there's only one way to make it, and it's the way we're about to go make it. And I thought we could do it another way, and we just keep adjusting course. And then it's like, nope, this is how we're making this one. And you can already feel the sparkles as we get closer to it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a rainbow, and we're just going to follow the rainbow to the pot of gold at the end.
Yeah, and we'll keep you guys posted along the way.
Yeah, of course. But
Season 3.
Season 3. Wow, magic time. Is that it? Have you had enough? I'll hit another dab. I'll keep hanging out if you want to. I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
We'll wrap it up. I know my girl. Cass has had enough, y'all.
I love it.
I do love it.
I do love
get
it.
a little tired.
No, I'm not tired. I could talk to you forever. I will talk to you forever.
Yeah. Hopefully any of this made sense, but we're trying to be like a drug. Really.
Be the drug.
Yeah. I mean, we've done many episodes about that fact that people are drugs. People are stronger than drugs. So what kind of drug are you? How do people feel when you enter the scene? What do you make happen to them?
Yeah, I used to be a lot more interested in shaking people's tight ropes, and I'm not as interested in that anymore.
Yeah, I think we fancied ourselves as acid people, like we are acid.
Yeah.
And now I'm much more like, no, I'm like a nice joint. But I think because we've gone so far out, we can't help but represent and be acid to people.
Right, because if someone's living your life kind of alternatively, it's kind of like, oh.
Even if we're not trying to draw attention to it, just me, you, and Mare going around living our life. is acid. Like where you're gonna come across people that just kind of like blows their mind and makes them start questioning their decisions or their relationship or their sexuality or whatever. So I think as much as I don't really fancy wanting to shake people's tightrope like that, I really
It
fancy
is
myself
funny
more.
though.
It is fucking
It is
hilarious.
fucking funny when
Yeah.
people like did a certain prescription and they're like, "Wait, there were other options." It's like, yeah,
It's like, yeah, you weren't using your creativity.
infinite options
You
on how
got
to do this.
hypnotized by the thing. You got hypnotized by that machine
Yeah.
that just wants to fucking grind you up and turn you into a good worker. Like, fuck that. Don't get hypnotized by that shit. You don't have to be a good worker.
Yeah, and you don't have to be just a. You can shake up your relationship.
Ooh, now we're talking. What do you mean?
I don't know. If your relationship's not working, make it work. I don't know.
How would you suggest
I
people
don't.
go about doing
It
that?
really depends.
Mm.
I wouldn't necessarily think that like bringing other partners into the mix is always the prescription
No,
at all.
no, no, not at all. I
Um,
think getting a clear view of what the issues are is where all of this needs to start before. Because, you hear a lot of people like, I don't know how I'm feeling this and that. So I went to my partner and said I wanted to be in an open relationship. It's just like, that's an ultimatum. That's not how you work with somebody. That's like, if you came to me with a decision you've already made and we didn't arrive at that together, like, doesn't that just feel like kind of like you feel imposed upon? And like, it's like we're building this monument to our love that is our relationship. And then like you throw a wrench in the spokes. Come on. So, but that's what I'm saying. If I feel like if you work with your partner and maybe like some MDMA,
yeah.
you can get a clear view of what the issues are before you even start working on them.
MDMA helps a lot. Not gonna lie.
Well, because it silences the amygdala, which is the fight or flight part of our brain. So
Mhm.
when you kind of like just like throw a temporary little cloak over that thing and let it go to sleep, you can get a sense of who you really are, especially if you're not in like some loud, overstimulating place. If you're just sitting with somebody who you really trust and you take that drug, access to that space where that amygdala is silenced is very valuable. And I would only really recommend doing that 2 to 3 times a year at most. It's very valuable. And yeah, maybe every now and then you throw one away and say, fuck it, I'm going to do this around a bunch of people and a loud music and have
I
a
don't
great
think
time.
that's throwing it away, honestly, though, because I think when you do it around other people, like I have like social anxiety, I guess you'd call it, or like I'm I guess I'm more on the introverted side of the spectrum.
Mm.
So like if you kind of like silence your amygdala in a crowd, like you can be more comfortable in those spaces or be more like I remember we talked to someone who's like, I can dance in public now because of MDMA. Because,
Yeah.
like dancing on MDMA in front of other people, like unlocks something where it's like kind of unlocked that fright that they had,
Mm.
So I think there is something to that.
It's the dance like no one's watching drug.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone should know that. Ketamine's your dance like no one's watching drug.
I don't even remember.
I think so. I like when I think of like drug experiences that get you out there shaking your little booty. I feel like it's just the right amount of ketamine, and you're just like,
Well, just like
woo-wee.
fuck it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just my fuck it
yeah.
drug. It's like I don't even know what's going on. I'm so out of my body that I want to feel my body almost.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I'm just like woo, and I'm like, let me get in this. I have to balance it or something. Um, yeah, we were talking about that would be probably a more interesting conversation to have with Mary. I mean, we tried GHB once. I don't know if we ever even talked about
Tried it
it
a few times.
a few times. But
GHB is good stuff.
but there was something about it. Like Mary's like, it takes you out of your body, and she didn't like it for that reason. But I'm thinking I liked it for that reason, and I got more into it brought me more into my body
It's
because I'm not
really
thinking about
interesting.
my body or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
More to be unpacked. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what that drug does or why it like works. Like it's a sex drug. There's only like to me there's like two sex drugs. It's that and 2CB. And yeah, we tried GHB a few times and I liked it. I mean, I thought it was relatively innocuous. Like I really based like not doing it anymore on Mare's reaction more than anything. If one of us three is like not feeling it, I tend to trust that.
I don't think it's good for you. I think
No.
And I think that it's very dangerous on alcohol. It's like can be dangerous for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, drugs are so crazy.
Yeah.
Life is so crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Because you think you know what's going on, and then you snort a line of ketamine, and you're like, oh yeah, what the fuck is going on? I mean, that's how I feel like every time I like, not every time, but like edibles or whatever. You're just like,
Mm.
your perspective can either zoom out or zoom in. It's like the shift in consciousness is possible.
Yeah.
And you could, I mean, you can do it with breath work. You can do it in ways without drugs, but it's like anything that. Oh, I was watching a little Esther Perel thing. I know a lot of people who really love her, and I
I don't
haven't.
even know what that is.
She's like a relationship coach. I don't know. I was just watching a couple small videos because like I know people love her, so let me see what's going on. And she was basically one of the things she was saying is that it's really important to have like new experiences with your partner, like
Mhm.
not like crazy new experiences to the point where you're chaotic and you like lose ground, you know. But you know, new experiences where you can like grow and do things together, and I think that's kind of what happens with people is that they forget how infinite they are and how therefore infinite their partner is. And we make certain assumptions about who we are and how we are, and then make certain assumptions about who our partner is and how they're going to be and how they'll respond. So we don't give each other the opportunity to surprise us or change or show up differently. And I think, like, when you start to know how your partner's going to react before they react, you're really stealing a lot from them. Like it's and I
Yeah.
think that's when you and I get like in our biggest fights. I'm like, because you tell me I'm a certain way, and I'm like, I
Wait,
am
wait,
not a
wait.
certain way.
And when you do that to me, I lose my mind.
Yeah,
You know, or when we
I'm
do
like,
it
I'm
to
an
Mare.
infinite human being.
When we do it to Mare, she loses her mind. When she does it to me, I lose my mind. It's like you're boxing someone in. You're saying, oh, you can't be anything else other than the thing that I already know about you. And it's like, well, then why the hell would I have any long relationships? It's just like, oh, everybody just like fucking gets to the place where I'm not as funny, and they're like a little eye rolly. But like, come on,
No, you gotta like be passionate about this discovery, like the
the
ongoing.
curiosity we have that we use for documentary, we have that in our relationship, and I think that I've seen a lot of people operate like where the new things that they want to try, they like almost exclusively do that without their partner. You know, like, hey, that ship has sailed. Like we already have decided the things that we
Yeah,
do and who we are, and like if I'm gonna do any growth, it happens outside the relationship. I know a number of people currently in those kind of relationships where like you see them almost exclusively without their partner. Like it's not even a question if they would bring their partner somewhere or do something wild like what we were doing or take drugs or whatever. So yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's like if you show up as a different, you know, updated version of yourself, like that's like my operating system saying like, hey, do you want to update? You want to update now, or do you want to choose later, or never at all? And like if you just keep choosing that, like, no, I don't want to update. I don't want to
it could be
update. Like,
kind of threatening when I feel like you're
yeah,
like in a better place than me, because I'm like, oh no, like I could lose you. But then it just, for the
no,
most part, it just like inspires me to show up better.
yeah,
And that's the whole thing of like these projections and reflections that we are of each other, and that, you know, this idea that there's like a, I think we're all at this place of like, okay, we're all one, like we're all the same thing, we're Indra's net, we're all reflections of each other. Like my inner consciousness is affecting my reality, which affects how you look at me and treat me and who you are and how I perceive you. And so it can be like you can kind of just like wash it all away and just be like, well, everything's a reflection of me. But that's not how the human brain works or can operate.
mm-hmm.
So it's like great when you're on fucking a bunch of acid to like come to that realization, but then you have to interface with people who like have their own inner lives and inner world.
Who will disappoint you?
Yeah, and so I don't know, life is kind of like a dance of like taking personal responsibility, but then also like making people feel like I want to get better at making you feel heard and not being so defensive. Like I've been kind of listening to some different things on relationship lately and hearing, because I know that I'm a defensive person and I know you just want to be heard, and I get so frustrated with how you express to me that you want to get heard that I feel like
Yeah,
I
no, I
don't
know.
get to hear you because I'm like, I heard you. I heard you. Okay, whatever. You're being so annoying. Like, can you just chill
It's
out?
crazy because of, like, a lot of times I'm not even righteous. It's just more like, hey, I just need to say this. I just need to get this out. I just need to hear myself say this, like, or whatever. So any resistance I meet, it's just like we're just like killing time because I'm like,
You're
this
not
doesn't
gonna.
even need to become a debate. Like, I just need to feel like someone heard me say this.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
there's like ways that you can make your partner feel heard that I'm not necessarily good at. I'm trying to be more savvy about that because I realize
Yeah.
how important it is to you to feel heard. And like, I also just want to get the fuck out of whatever the fuck. I want you to feel heard because I want to
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's an important thing is feeling like people like they're heard, and it's not always in conflict. It's just like literally like I'm a fucking goofball and I'm like, Cass, do you ever realize like I'm just trying to be a fucking silly goose all the time?
That's why you have Mare.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't
That's
be
true.
everything to you.
Yeah. Yeah, we become little jesters together.
Yeah.
Little twisted jesters.
She gets your jokes and laughs at them.
She does. She loves my jokes.
And that's
I love hers. She cracks me up. Like, we have long phone calls. Like, we'll hang out all day and then have a long phone call and be cracking each other up. Those would be the funniest podcasts ever if you had recorded our phone calls with Mare or something.
mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. But
Well, I don't think that's a tragedy to not be everything to someone because I think we just like want to complete each other
hmm
and not and our self-worth is wrapped up in like how is do I give to my partner everything that they need?
well, I tell Mare all the time, like, I'm like, when we're in conflict, it's like a lot of times it has to do with some cycle that has me feeling like I'm not a good boyfriend. And it's like, I'm like, it feels like the only thing I'm really good at. It's the thing I've been doing the longest in my life. And no one's really ever wanted to leave me. I mean, it happened once, but it was a trying situation. I don't even think she really wanted to leave. And like, I've just fucking fancy myself good at this shit. And when I feel like I'm not being a good boyfriend or I'm being held in contempt, it
It's so funny though because in those
crushes me.
moments you're so attached to being a good boyfriend. That's probably when you're the worst boyfriend because you're like the
I'm
meanest or
offline,
and
yeah.
you're
I'm
just
not
like you're
myself.
clinging for some validation of how you're a good boyfriend and through that you end up pushing people away because you're like, tell me I'm a good boyfriend.
Yeah, or
And
not,
you're
it's
like,
not even
actually,
telling me I'm a
right
good boyfriend.
now.
It's just like, please don't reflect to me like I've been some sort of drag because like I really don't think I am.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways like I'm a source of good times and
Well, you can
good
trust that and
vibes.
also trust people to come back around to that, you
Yeah,
know? And I think
yeah.
I'm trying to get into a better place of like acceptance and accepting whatever the moments is, you know? Just
Mm,
like, nothing needs to be done. We always think something needs to be done, or at least I do. I always am like, what do I need to do to fix this thing?
yeah,
And that's like it's like a workaround to keep me in my anxiety.
yeah, absolutely.
It's like, okay, well, I want the moment to be perfect, so I need to make sure that I do that. But it's like, no, it is perfect.
That's why acceptance has to be our religion. Acceptance is like it is the church of chill.
Well, because then once you accept, it's easier to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once I accept that you're upset, we can just, like, be in that moment of upset and then
Yeah.
work together to fix it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Any problem could be solved that way.
It's so hard when you're in, like, the heat of it, though. Like, it's
Well,
crazy right now to think we would ever fight because, like, I can look at you and I
yeah.
can feel you right now and I feel like we're calm and, like, we haven't fought in a minute. Like, it's not like we're fighting all the time, but
I have my amygdala totally slayed.
but you know, it does happen where you can't see each other and you can't hear each other and you just are driving each other freaking crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. A long walk usually helps to come back to the basics. A long walk will usually help getting back to a place where you can hear and be heard.
And
Simple shit.
yeah, I mean, I think it was funny. We were in a fight the other day and like I was talking to Joey and Joey and I were laughing and I feel like it was just contagious because you were really mad at me and we were mad at each other and you said something like, we hate each other right now. And I was like, well, I don't hate you, but okay. But it was just, that was how bad the energy was. It was like, we hate each other. And then I'm on the phone with Joey laughing, and I swear it like turned your mood around. You weren't even talking to Joey, but you're realizing like, oh, life can be like funny. Like we can just like choose to not be
Yeah,
so
yeah,
worked up about this like one particular aspect of whatever's making us like
yeah.
feel unsavory towards each other.
Yeah, it also helps too, because like Joey's dating somebody, and they're having like just to realize like I'm not alone. I'm not like it's so weird how myopic I can get and just feel like I'm the only person in the universe that's experiencing these issues at this time. And like literally, my best friend is going through it, and I'm hesitant to call him. Then when I talk to him, and he's just like, I don't know why she's just like making me feel like I was a bad boyfriend, and it drives me insane. I can't do anything until I'm like, dude, amen, aho, I, whoop whoop. Yeah, yeah. So, what I was trying to say before, and if I had to sum up, like my vibe over 300 episodes is just I'm doing my best. You're just seeing a person that's just doing their best and trying to make some shit and trying to make something happen,
Yeah.
and trying to like really really feel into what life's all about and how connected things are. And but all I can say is I've done my best because I think people's got a lot of different versions of me, and it's just it is always me doing my best and trying to learn from you and trying to learn from my mistakes and the people I've hurt. And I know I've hurt people and I know I've upset people, but it's always just you're like, we joke it's a de-evolution, but you really are just watching our evolution. And us getting to a place where we're saying, oh, this is more of a comedy podcast is the best possible outcome of doing this 300 times.
Yeah.
It's the best possible thing. Because if we were at a place 300 episodes deep where we're like, let's double down on some shtick, let's
Or we
make
have to solve the issues of the universe.
solve the issues. We could barely solve our own issues.
Yeah.
What the
And
hell
that,
are we gonna
I think
do?
that's how we got to like that's how it even just evolved the podcast is like we're like, "Oh, trying to solve these big issues," and like meanwhile our home life was like in disarray. It's
Yeah,
like, what the fuck are we talking about that when it's like we can't even get along in our own house?
yeah,
But I mean, we're great. We do great.
yeah.
And we really prioritize getting along, and I think we really do. And I really love you, and I have no ill will towards you, and I have no but hurt feelings, and I hope that you don't
Same.
either. And I want to be a better partner to you
You're
in like
incredible.
all the
You watch
ways.
the Mets game.
I'm not
You
doing
give
that.
me so much sex. And you listen to Butthole Surfers and Ween and like actively want to go see these bands live and shit.
Yeah, we're very compatible, which really works
We're
out.
going to see Ween at Red Rocks.
Yeah. You
It's
said it
a,
was kind of like the Rolling Stones thing. You're like, if we're not there, I don't know what our life is.
well, I mean, I was like, Ween's playing at Red Rocks, and you were like, cool, yeah, like it was just like obvious, like that we have to go, and then you didn't get tickets, and you were like, I don't think we should like plan a trip around that necessarily, and I was like, okay. And then it just like dawned on me over the course of a week. Like
You were
I
kind of
think
upset
our
about it.
priorities got a little fucked up.
You're like, we're not in the right. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is a band that's not going to be around forever, and they don't play Red Rocks
They're
often.
probably not
and
gonna. Yeah, I could see them just being like, "Fuck it, we don't even want to tour anymore."
Yeah, and they barely ever play Red Rocks, and I've never seen a show there. So sometimes we have to reprioritize, and that was one of those moments. And we're going to see Ween at Red Rocks, and we'd appreciate it if anyone hearing this that's going to be at that show meets up with us. Because if you're listening at this point, you're a real homie. You're a real fucking homie. And Ween is one of the best live experiences and one of the best bands that America has ever produced. And I've listened to a lot of shit. And I think that's going to be a legendary night. And we're going to be shooting Wild Magic up and around that and having lots of fun. But we're open to anyone's like tips, like places to go, people to meet up with. People is really a thing because everywhere is magical when there's magical people there. It doesn't fucking matter.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think we've displayed that in a lot of our films, and I think this should be a reflection of that. Is like you don't have to go to Garden of the Gods or Sedona, and we might go to those places, but you don't have to go to those places to tap into the wild magic that is America.
Well, that's your neighbor next door.
Exactly.
There's a lot of ways to go about interfacing with this universe.
Mm.
And it can be more magical, and that's what we're interested in, like uncovering and discovering and also like initiating people into. And I think that's what we kind of have come to with this film is like we want to create a film that's like an initiation to living a more magical life.
Yeah, that is the prescription that after you've watched it, you're like, oh.
And that's not even saying like, oh, don't have the job that you have. It's like, no, but you can approach your life with more intention, with more magic, with more wonderment.
Yeah, jobs are great and they provide people with the means to do cool things with their life. But if it's stressing you out, just don't take it as seriously. It literally works for me. We barely ever work, but like a big thing will come our
We're
way.
working every day, but no.
But like when it's like really push comes to shove, Sean needs to do his thing. It's tough for me sometimes because I take it too seriously. But when I'm reminded on set or whatever, or in the edit room, like just chill, like and take it a little less seriously. It's a fucking commercial. It's a piece of content, whatever.
Well, like
No big
also
deal.
when you're
Our
having
film's a whole different story. But
when you're having fun in your life, like when I always just tried to have the funniest time on set.
yeah,
I mean, I have videos in my phone from like, well, I'd always fuck around with the PAs and we'd be like, I remember we would just make obstacle courses for ourselves, you know?
you're ridiculous.
Like you could do different things to bring some
Well,
fun.
the director can't really get away with doing that because everyone's watching you. So, and I get very stressed out about that. I'm like, stop! What are you watching me for? Like, why are you like staring at me? Literally.
Because
I don't care, but
yeah.
yeah. If you're taking your job too seriously, take it a little less seriously. See how that feels for a little bit. Maybe it'll send your life in a different direction.
Enjoy the process.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, episode 300, Variate Podcast. We put out 300 episodes plus for free, plus all of our films are free. Everything's for free on variape.tv and our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, send us a comment. And, if you really dig all the free stuff we've done, we have this whole other universe that's like $1 or $2 a month. Whatever you want to pay. If you want to give us more than that, that's great. But patreon.com/churchofchill is how you access our Discord community, documentary stuff, podcasts, tons of, I think we have 75 bonus podcasts that aren't anywhere else. The old episodes can be accessed on there. Church of Chill, 157 episodes of our psychedelic radio show, going strong, and a lot more to come. And Patreon is where we put everything first. And
that's where if our shit gets more serious, everything's going to live going forward.
Yeah. There's a couple things that if they go through for us, we might have to hide everything there.
Because we can't be in public talking like this.
Yeah.
So I sound like idiots.
Yeah. Well, some networks trying to
No one's
going to
give us money if we sound like this. They're going to be like, those guys are dopes.
Yeah, but we're real. We're real dopes.
We're the truest dopes you'll ever meet.
Yeah, the realest of the real dopes. So I hope you had a dope time with us. Sean and Cass, Variate Productions. Patreon.com/churchofchill. Peace, love, and magic, y'all.
Peace, love, and magic.